Number 5. Arthropleura. If you think the centipede in your bathroom is a nightmare meat, Arthropleura basically a prehistoric version the size of a school bus. Yeah, you could have ridden this thing to class if you didn't mind dying of ticklish terror halfway there. It lived about 346 to 290 million years ago, crawling through the steamy rainforests of the Carboniferous period. It stretched close to 9 feet long, weighed more than 100 pounds, and still holds the title for the biggest arthropod ever to walk on land. Its armor-plated body had between 32 and 64 legs, leaving tracks half a foot wide. Imagine seeing that and thinking a tank just drove by. Scientists first assumed it was a meat-eating monster, basically a mini Godzilla with too many legs. Turns out it was just a massive vegetarian millipede. No fangs, no jaws, just a digestive tract full of fern spores. Nature built something that looked like a final boss, but acted like a lawnmower. Everyone thought it hunted. Nope, it just munched salads. Picture a 100-legged armored truck crawling through the jungle, longer than a Toyota sedan, as gentle as a vegan Totoro. Drop it into Jurassic Park, and even the dinosaurs would go. Who let that rolled-up sushi bug on set? This was one of those creatures evolution made, while the Wi-Fi was down and nobody was supervising. When the world dried out, humidity crashed, and the rainforests vanished, this bus-sized bug shriveled up and checked out. A sad ending for something that once ruled the forest floor, only to die because there wasn't enough water for its plants. So next time you see a tiny pill bug in your backyard, remember its great-granddaddy could have flattened you without even trying. Number 4. El Silbon. Think ghost stories only live in horror games. Meet El Silbon, the 6-meter-tall whistler who drags a bag of his father's bones through the night. In short, an ungrateful son, a little too much rum, and one very bad family dinner. The legend goes back to the 19th century, in the blistering plains of Los Llanos, half Venezuela, half Colombia, where the heat was high, the rum flowed freely, and morals evaporated. A spoiled son stabbed his father over a deer stew, so Grandpa organized a custom team-building exercise: tie him up, whip him raw, pour rum, lemon, and chili on the wounds, the original BBQ of guilt. The kid was cursed to carry bones, forever chased by 2 demonic dogs, basically the hell edition of Just Dance, only nobody wins. But the real terror is his whistle. If it sounds close, you're safe. If it sounds far, he's right behind you. A sonic paradox that laughs at common sense. Locals blame it on strange echoes rolling across the plains, but physics or not, once you hear it, you've got 2 options: pray or sprint, like Usain Bolt. If El Silbon were alive today, he'd be South America's first ASMR influencer, surround sound whistling, mixed with bone percussion captioned "relax" or "D." 6 meters tall, dressed in white bone sack slung over his shoulder on TikTok. Number Silbon challenge would trend in 5 minutes flat. And if you're drunk, don't expect a follow back. He'll drain your blood and your booze for his next cocktail. Only 3 things drive him off: barking dogs, whips, and chili lime, the same ingredients that ruined his life. A terrifying story, sure, but also a moral one. Drink less, stay loyal, and never mess with a man holding a whip. Because if you hear that whistle tonight, sorry, he already dropped a pin on your location. Number 3. Manananggal. You think breakups hurt? Try splitting yourself in 2. Meet the Manananggal, the self-detaching woman of Filipino folklore. Think PDF splitter, but with more guts and less logic. By day, she's a quiet, kind midwife. By night, a cross between Batman and a kitchen blender. The word Manananggal comes from Tagalog tangle, to separate. She takes that literally, ripping herself apart at the waist. The upper half sprouts massive bat wings and takes off into the night, guts dangling like loose Ethernet cables. The lower half just stands there like a tripod, waiting for a firmware update. And if you hear a soft tick-tick outside your window, that's not your AC unit. Her specialty: hunting pregnant women. She uses a tongue as long as a garden hose to sip fetal hearts straight from the womb. The quieter the wings, the closer she is, a sound illusion that kills curiosity faster than reason. Folklorists say it grew from ancient fears of childbirth deaths. Storytellers just shrug, nah, that's baby-eating demon stuff. If she showed up today, she'd be YouTube's top horror streamer. Hey guys, tonight I'm splitting in half and going hunting. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Her wings buzz like drones, her tongue's longer than a Marvel contract, and her whole vibe screams Twilight, but make it terrifying. To stop her, find her lower half and sprinkle salt, garlic ash, or vinegar on the cut. Basically turn it into the world's worst salad. If not, sunrise will finish the job. Monster or metaphor, the Manananggal proves one thing: sometimes a man's biggest fear is a woman who can fly and doesn't need her other half. If you enjoyed this mix of monsters and madness, hit like, subscribe, and let the algorithm know you survived the night. Number 2. Baba Yaga. Meet Baba Yaga, the grandmother you'd never invite to Thanksgiving. One hand stirs human stew, the other grants magical blessing. If Tinder had existed in medieval Europe, her bio would have said vegan souls only, no smoking, loves children, literally. In Slavic folklore, she's the ultimate split personality, half child-eating witch, half mystical life coach. Even her name's a contradiction. Baba means kindly old granny, while Yaga comes from a word for horror or disease. Put them together, and you get Grandma Plague. Her full title, Baba Yaga the Bone-Legged, comes from being so skinny, she looks like a mummified skeleton with dental insurance. Her famous house, the hut on chicken legs, sounds like a rendering glitch from The Sims Pagan Edition. But the image actually came from ancient funerary huts built on stilts instead of graves. Or from Siberian stilt houses raised to keep out predators. Villagers saw the posts and thought chicken leg. Live alone in the woods, mix medicine. Keep no Facebook account. Congratulations, you're now a child-eating witch. If Baba Yaga were alive today, she'd run a DIY YouTube channel, build a mobile home on chicken legs in 3 steps. Or maybe a wellness brand, cleanse your aura by sweeping your trauma. She rides a mortar rose with a pestle and sweeps her tracks away. Basically Uber Eats, but for the afterlife. And of course, she's the final boss of every Slavic RPG, gives you quests, then bakes you if you pick the wrong dialogue option. Truth is, Baba Yaga may be a fossil of an ancient earth goddess, once ruling birth, death, and fertility, before Christianity rebranded her as a cannibal crone. Now she's the world's first proto-feminist icon, independent, ageless homeowner with legs, and still terrifying everyone without a husband in sight. So if someone ever calls you as confusing as Baba Yaga, just smile, because in every legend, she's still alive, still free, and still cooking on her own terms. Number 1. Sea Eater. Scared of sharks? Cute. Forget sharks, meet the Sea Eater. The monster that doesn't need teeth, doesn't need a roar, just a mouth big enough to swallow the sea. Think of it as Leviathan in full HD, the mythic beast the Bible, ancient Middle East legends, and Final Fantasy all agree on. Not something you want on the end of your fishing line. This thing isn't new. It's a descendant of Lotan, the Canaanite sea serpent beaten by the god Bacal, basically religion's first boss fight. By the Hebrew Bible, Leviathan got a graphics upgrade, armor scales hard as steel, fire for breath, and steam pouring from its nostrils like an industrial dragon. In the book of Job, God pretty much says, if you can't catch this thing, don't bother asking me big questions. Leviathan wasn't a monster, it was a humility lesson with teeth. Then comes the twist in Psalm 104. God admits he made Leviathan just to play with. Yep, what humanity feared as chaos, he kept as a pet the size of a continent. But the story doesn't end there. Later Jewish texts say Leviathan will be killed at the end of days, salted and served at a holy banquet. That's right, Armageddon as a buffet. The righteous get to taste fillet of Leviathan dipped in the tears of sinners and say, not bad. From symbol of chaos to entree of paradise, who knew the apocalypse came with catering. Fast forward to the 17th century philosopher Thomas Hobbes looked at Leviathan and said, that's not a monster, that's government. In his book Leviathan, he described the state as a man-made giant built from its citizens, a political megazord to keep the peace through fear. Ever since, Leviathan has meant any system so huge and terrifying that no one dares to fight it. Today, Leviathan is having a second act, a sea boss in Final Fantasy, an alien godfish in Mass Effect, and in the internet age, a data-hungry AI that swallows privacy instead of ships. Once it ate boats, now it eats bandwidth and terms of service. From myth to metaphor to machine, Leviathan never died, it just kept updating. Back then it devoured sailors. Now it devours you with a checkbox that says, I agree. So, if the ocean's quiet today, maybe the Sea Eater is still out there, only now it has Wi-Fi. Welcome to Beats Lore, where we decode the weirdest legends and wildest creatures on Earth. If the Sea Eater gave you chills, trust me, that was just the shallow end. For next episode, you choose A. Ancient creatures that survived extinction, B. Biblical monsters that might have been real, or C. Fossils that made science go speechless. Type A, B, or C+, your reason in the comments, we read them all, and your pick might make the next show. Hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell because next time nature turns on hardcore mode.